Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to my first monthly review of Tau Māori, my journey to sobriety. I just wanted to start actually by sending out a mihi to everybody who sent back awesome feedback and words of encouragement to me on this journey. It's the end of January and I'm going to review my month and tell you all what I've been up to. But it's been cool hearing what everyone else has been up to and listening to people talk about their own journey and trials and tribulations of a journey towards sobriety. Nā reira, tēnei au e mihi ana ki a koutou I tuku kōrero mai, I tuku I ngā kupu tautoko mai ki au, mō tēnei mahi aku. So I just wanted to cover a couple of things actually. The first of which is the referral process. So when I decided to take on this challenge, I had to refer myself to get help, and I went through the alcohol and drug website, which is the national website in New Zealand. I'm just getting the contact details up, but it was actually quite a challenge, because I thought that you'd ring the 0800 number and then they would just help you there, but they refer you to someone who in turn referred me to another person in another company, and then they referred me to another person in another company, and I think I got to 5 services before I was able to be helped, and even though I got to the 5th service, I'm still waiting for a counsellor and support, because when I rang the 5th service I got sent to an answer machine and had to push 1 and 2 and 3, so the whole process was quite challenging, and still I wait for some assistance, but I do have faith it is going to come. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but I think it needs to be mentioned, New Zealand Alcohol and Drug, to perhaps streamline the services so that people aren't being chased or run around the country to get some help. But it shall arrive. I have every faith it will. I thought I'd go through some positives and some negatives and then talk about what I've done so far about them. So let's start with the positives. It's summer and it's hot. We're in the middle of a heat wave, and so with heat waves comes thirst, and with thirst usually comes alcohol, but I've actually taken on water. Water's interesting to drink. You'd think it would be easy, but it's actually not. And so what I've also done is, instead of buying me a box, which I would usually do, I've gone on to ginger ales and other fizzy drinks. But as I started drinking the fizzies, I realised actually there's a lot of sugar in them. So now I've set a goal that if I'm going to buy a fizzy drink or a fruit drink, that it has to be sugar free. I've found that I stopped drinking. It wasn't a challenge actually to stop the drinking. It happened quite easily actually, and I think that actually I was quite concerned that it was just that easy to stop, but with stopping, other things were put in its place. So drinking fizzies and eating lollies, my goodness, I've just turned to lollies and sugar and chocolate and cannot get enough of them. So whilst I've stopped one habit, I've picked up another. So that's going to be a future goal, to knock that on the head. But chipping away, so I've started with the sugar-free drinks and trying to get water into the system. The other addiction that's picked up is coffee. Oh my goodness, I've been drinking coffee like there's no tomorrow. In the past 3 weeks on a daily basis, I think I've had 8 or 9 cups of coffee, and that's kept me up and going. So those are the replacements I find. I've gone and taken out something and I've replaced it with a substitute. Another thing I found in the past month is I have so much time to do things. It's quite concerning, because I sit on my couch and my mind is going over the things that I could do. And as I'm thinking and mulling over things, I realise that an hour, maybe 2 hours has gone and I've thought about what I could do instead of doing something. So sobriety brings with it lots and lots of time to do things. At this stage, I don't think it's wise to do stuff without planning. I'm a teacher too, so that comes into it. I'd like to plan things out before I do them rather than just do them off the cuff. Otherwise things get done half-assed or not at all, or start and then just put it in the corner. That's one of my projects that I've actually done. I started making a painting easel out of recycled wood, and it's just sitting in a pile in my garage at the moment because I can't be bothered. So I've started a couple of things and I haven't finished them, and that's enough sign for me to say plan something out and do it properly. So that's going to be another future goal. With eating and drinking things I shouldn't has come a fat roll on my stomach, so I've put on heaps and heaps of weight and got really, really fat in a certain place. It's my sugar sack. And so I have taken up exercise every day. I walk the beach, usually go to Waikawa from Otaki. So it's about an hour and a half one way. And I usually walk in the afternoons just on sunset because it's beautiful out there. You see Kapiti Island and the sun setting behind it. Also running. I've been reading a book to help me run. It's called Run Fat Bitch Run. I'll put the picture up at the next review to let you know how I've gone. But it teaches you how to run, and there's a no-nonsense doctor who helps you and tells you how to run and run properly. So I've been running and building up my stamina to run long distances as part of my exercise. My legs are killing me, but my puku, I hope, is thanking me for it, as well as my tinana. So exercise is something I've taken up, and also fills my time up, so it's pretty good. One of the challenges I knew I'd face, I just didn't realise it would happen so early, was a party. So a couple of weeks ago we had a big tangihanga up at Raukawa Marae in Otaki here. And as you do, if you're familiar with working at a tangihanga, there are usually a couple of drinks after the tangihanga has finished, and at this particular tangihanga there were lots of boxes of beer being shouted to the cooks. So when the tangihanga finished, all the cooks went outside and there were boxes of beer being given out, and it was hot. It was so hot. The kitchen staff just hoed into it, and that's where I was working for the week, so I knew that was going to happen, and just stayed in the kitchen tidying up and letting the others have their drink, have their well-deserved drink. And another person in the kitchen didn't want to drink it either, so we snuck out the back, jumped in the car and took off without anyone seeing us. However, the invitation was put out there to go to the local pub, at which there were more drinks being shouted, and usually I'd be in, jumping in there and having a drink, but I was well on the journey there at that point of time. So I went to the pub and I had an orange juice. I said hello to everybody, and then I left. And what I learned about that was that you can't hide from those situations. You can't put yourself in a room and cut everyone off. At some stage you're going to have to get in there and socialise, and learn to socialise without alcohol in your system. As it turned out, it was really cool. Everybody, by the time I'd got there, everyone was sloshed, and everyone was in a good mood. And so by the time I'd left, it was really positive. It was cool seeing everybody having a good time, well-deserved drink after a big, long week of mahi. And so that was that. I am glad I went, because I really was on the borderline of not going, just because I didn't want to be confronted with an alcohol situation in front of me. But there was lots of encouragement from my sister, who said, get down there and start now, otherwise you're gonna put it off and perhaps never do it. So I'm really glad I did that, and I wouldn't do it too often, but it did tell me that you've got to learn how to cope with people drinking and being in an atmosphere where there's lots of drinking and you are not drinking. So that's something to practice. One of the negatives I've experienced is insomnia. I have not been sleeping. I usually stay up. I'm a night owl anyway, so I have found that I am just not sleeping. I think too, now that I'm not drinking, there's lots of clarity, so the things that I'm doing, I'm very, very aware of. Thoughts that come to mind are very, very clear. I think because I have such a clear mind now, and there's no muddying of the thoughts, things are very, very clear, and so I have a clearer way of seeing things, and with that comes the big long wānanga within myself. And it usually happens when I go to bed, and I'll lie in bed for a couple of hours thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about the thoughts of the day, things that have just popped in my mind, and have found that 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours have gone past and I just haven't fallen asleep. Actually, last night was the same. I went to sleep at about 5:30 this morning, woke up at about 9, and just feel fine to work. I'll probably have a siesta this afternoon, but that's become a bit of a usual pattern, and I'm not sure how to curb that. It's just lots of awake time and clarity of thought in the worst time, which is when I need to go to sleep. But I have had insomnia really badly over the past couple of weeks, and so the other thing that's happened with that, as you find yourself not being able to sleep, has been Netflix. Netflix and internet movies have become big, and I have probably watched the whole catalogue of Netflix for New Zealand, and find myself referring people to movies and TV series, and oh, watch this, watch that, watch this. And I realised, geez, I know a lot of films, and it's dawned on me, it's because you're watching movies in the middle of the night because you can't get to sleep, and before you know it, it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and you've got to go to work soon. So that's something, once I get a counsellor, I'll talk about that. And I think I might need to go and see a doctor about that, because it's consistent. Most days I won't be able to, I won't sleep, or I'll have minimal sleep, maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And I think it's just happened anyway, but I think that this is a fallout of not sleeping, is that I've been overcompensating, and I find myself talking someone's ear off, and I'll get through a conversation. I think, gee, I said a lot, and I think it's because I've been overcompensating. And usually I'm talking about a movie because I've seen it and I want to review it and tell someone about it. But when I do it, I've found, oh my gosh, I've just chewed someone's ear off for 5 to 10 minutes about this movie that they probably had no interest about. So this is another fallout. Oh, I find myself talking. I think it is overcompensating for perhaps the time between myself and the other person, chipping away maybe at the unease of, you know, when you sit with somebody and there's that dead silence and then you have to knock it off. What better way to knock it off than to chew someone's ear off and talk about a movie? So that's something that I've got to be aware of. I wasn't aware until someone told me, yeah, you spoke about 5 movies. You told me about 5 movies that you've seen. I thought, really? Yeah, you obviously watch a lot of movies. So lots of thinking about why I did that, and have I done it anywhere else, and actually reflecting, yeah, I actually do that quite a lot. talk and talk and talk now that I've got, I think because I've got no alcohol in my system. Could be something else, who knows. My birthday's happening in February, and it's not that I don't want to celebrate it. I don't usually celebrate my birthday, but I'd like to get through it with positivity and with cool stuff happening. And I love February. February's a cool month. It's my month, so it's usually hot. It's usually full of fun, and I've got lots of mahi to do, so February's going to be a busy month work-wise. I think that looking forward, I hope these things will happen. I hope that there will be a counsellor who's going to help me unpack my alcohol use of alcohol, that I can unpack some of the want-to-knows in my head around the habits I have, that my exercise picks up and that I keep doing it, and that February is a good working month for me, and that I'm busy. Also, I hope that the health issues I have, i.e. the insomnia, the eating of unhealthy foods, will be curbed. So those are my goals looking forward. But until then, I'm going to say e noho rā I o koutou kāinga. I have said enough, and I hope that this video finds you well. Kia taunga manaakitanga, a te runga rawa ki runga I a koutou katoa I o koutou kāinga. Tēnei au e mihi ana ki a koutou, e mātakitaki mai nā I o koutou kāinga. Me tēnei haerenga oku, te whai I te taumauritanga mo te tau 2018. Ngā mihi.